We leave the pillar of the neck behind. We descend into the great central expanse of the body, the silent sanctuary, the chamber of rhythm, the thorax. This is not merely a cage of bone, for a cage implies imprisonment, and this structure is designed for freedom. It is a sacred fortress, constructed to house the ceaseless tides of existence, the eternal beat of the heart, and the rhythmic flow of the breath. Standing guard at the very front of this temple is the central pillar of protection, the sternum. Visualize it not as bone, but as a heavy, ancient shield, a dagger of dense alabaster, hanging point downward over the center of your chest, deflecting the weight of the world away from the delicate life within. This shield is formed from 3 ancient segments, fused by time into a single vertical line of safety. At the top lies the heavy handle of the sword, the manubrium, broad, thick, and dense. It sits at the base of your throat, a solid knot of porcelain, anchoring the collarbones to the fortress wall, holding the shoulder girdle in a state of suspended strength. Below this handle lies the blade itself, the body, a long, flat, porcelain expanse, resting silently directly over the heart, a smooth, white wall protecting the rhythm. Feel the stability of this bone. It does not bend, it does not break, it simply exists. A barrier between the inner world and the outer chaos. And at the very bottom, the final sharp point of the dagger, the xiphoid process, guarding the deep structures beneath, a vulnerable, narrow aspect of the shield, yet in the stillness of sleep. It rests quietly, a silent marker of the boundary between the thoracic sanctuary above and the abdominal calm below. Deep, anterior, tranquility, radiating outward from this central shield. We find the sweeping, curved walls of the cathedral, the ribs, costae, 12 pairs of alabaster bows, encircling the void. Visualize them, 24 individual arches, sweeping out from the central axis to embrace the lungs, classified technically as a flat bone, but in reality, a slender, elegant strip, twisted slightly along its axis, like a ribbon of frozen silk. This twist is essential. It allows the woven lattice of the chest to expand, to rise and fall without shattering. The bone itself is light, composed of highly vascular sponge within, encased in a thin, razor-sharp layer of compact porcelain. It is resilient. It is strong. The porcelain wall of the sanctuary. The journey of every rib begins at the rear, deep within the shadow of the spinal pillar. Here, the rib seeks its foundation against the thoracic vertebrae, the head of the rib, a heavy, wedge-shaped terminal. It is not a rough connection, but a precise, articulated joint, fitting perfectly into the stone blocks of the spine, bridging the gap between the vertebrae, locking the column together in a woven embrace. Moving outward, the shaft curves sharply forward. The angle, the point of greatest curvature, the corner of the fortress wall, hidden beneath the lower edge of this curved shaft, is a secret channel, the costal groove, shielding the pathways of sensation, tucked away within the silent architecture, safe from the world. As the arches sweep forward, they organize themselves into 3 distinct tiers of protection. The upper 7 pairs are the true ribs, the direct guardians, originating from the spine and arching all the way forward to meet the sternum. Below them, the false ribs. These arches do not reach the shield directly. Instead, they sweep upward, fusing with the rib above them, creating a woven lattice margin at the base of the chest. Finally, at the very bottom, we find the floating ribs, short, delicate arches, anchoring only to the spine behind, floating free in the muscles of the back, silent sentinels of the kidneys, protecting the silence without constricting the expansion. But if this fortress were made solely of bone, it would be a tomb. A cage of solid stone cannot inhale. For the breath to enter, the walls must yield. And so, at the front of the chest, the bone undergoes a profound transformation. The heavy, opaque calcium gives way to a material of sublime resilience, the costal cartilages. Visualize the transition. The bone flows seamlessly into a different state of matter. It becomes hyaline cartilage, living glass, polished, milky amber, solidified water. These bars of living glass serve as the elastic hinges of the fortress. They attach the hard ribs to the heavy sternum. When you inhale, they twist like a wound spring, absorbing the energy of the breath, allowing the rigid alabaster walls to move, to expand, increasing the volume of the sanctuary. Now, consider the exhale. This is the moment of surrender. Muscular effort is required to inhale, but exhalation is a passive act. When the muscles relax, the springs untwist. The bars of glass snap back to their resting shape. The body does not need to work to exhale. It simply allows the silent architecture to return to equilibrium. You are supported by solidified water. The matrix holds you. The hinges are soft. Inside this cage of bone and muscle, the space is divided into chambers of tranquility. The soft wings, the lungs, light, airy, and delicate organs, contrasting sharply with the dense alabaster ribs that encircle them. Like the heart, they are not exposed. They are wrapped in a glistening serous membrane. The pleura. The inner walls of the rib cage are lined with a smooth sheet. The external surface of the lungs is covered by a second sheet. Between these two layers is a potential space, filled with a microscopic layer of holy fluid. This fluid creates a bond of surface tension, holding the lungs tight against the chest wall, yet allowing them to slide infinitely smoothly against the inner wall, a mechanism of fluid adhesion, a miracle of surface tension. Two surfaces of living porcelain, touching yet never grinding, held together by a bond stronger than glue, yet softer than wet silk. This bond creates a perfect vacuum seal, ensuring that when the heavy fortress walls expand outward, the lungs have no choice. They must follow, they must open, drawing in the cool, restorative breath of life in absolute, wet silence, and resting deep within this chamber, nestled between the soft wings of the lungs, is the ceaseless drum, the heart. But observe closely. It is not exposed to the chaos of the body. It is not naked against the bone. It is enclosed in its own private sanctuary, the pericardium, a double-walled fortress within a fortress, a sacred envelope. The outer layer is tough, fibrous, unyielding. It is a dense bag of ancient woven tissue, like a shield of white leather. It protects the heart from overexpanding. It anchors the heart firmly to the central tendon of the diaphragm below and to the sternum in front, holding it suspended in the center of your chest, like a heavy precious stone cradled in a velvet sling, unmoved by the world. But deep within this tough, fibrous bag is a second, secret layer, a delicate, slippery membrane, and between these two layers lies a mystery, a microscopic space filled with a thin film of holy oil, the pericardial fluid. Visualize this golden, viscous liquid. It coats the surface of the heart. It eliminates all resistance. It dissolves all friction. It allows the heavy muscle of the heart to glide, to turn, to twist twist gently in the darkness, to expand and contract without a single whisper of contact, a movement of absolute synovial silence. The heart swims in this oil, suspended, weightless, bathed in a golden viscous fluid that absorbs every shock, every vibration. It is a hydrodynamic miracle, two surfaces of living tissue gliding over one another endlessly, without a single molecule of friction, without a single whisper of resistance, a chamber of perfect peace amidst the perpetual motion. The engine runs, but the silence is absolute. Now, the time for active expansion is over. The time for effort has passed into memory. It dissolves into the past. We begin the slow, deliberate process of decelerating the engine, turning down the dials, dimming the lights of the biological machine. Bring your awareness to the entire thoracic cage, to the 12 pairs of arches, the great woven basket of bone. Throughout the thousands of minutes of this day, throughout the thousands of breaths you have taken, the muscles have worked tirelessly. The intercostals, those sheets of red strength woven between the ribs, the engine room of the breath. They have been lifting the heavy porcelain arches against gravity, fighting the pull of the earth, over and over again. With every single inhale, 1,000 lifts, 1,000 expansions. Now visualize them releasing their grip. Grant them permission to stop. Imagine the fibers lengthening, uncoiling, turning from red tension to pale relaxation. The knot is untied. The tension dissolves from the spaces between the bones. The external intercostals go slack. They unknit. They soften. They melt like warm wax, losing their form, losing their rigidity. They no longer pull the ribs upward. They surrender their duty. They hang loose between the bars of bone as the muscles let go. Gravity gently takes possession of the chest wall. The great ancient magnetism of the earth takes over. Feel the true weight of the 12 pairs of ribs. You are no longer holding them up. Feel them as they truly are. Heavy, dense, solid bars of calcium, ancient stone arches, without the effort to hold them high. They surrender to the earth. They sink. They slowly sink downward, deeper into the mattress. They settle, like stones settling into the sand at the bottom of a river. The entire cage compresses gently, narrowing the volume, becoming smaller, more compact, squeezing the last active breath out, and coming to rest in the position of exhalation, the position of absolute zero. Focus on the sternum, the heavy shield at the center of your chest, the vertical pillar. Imagine this bone as a massive anchor made of white alabaster, solid, cool, immovable. A white stone set deep in the center of the chest. With every exhale, it sinks deeper towards the spine. Gravity pulls it straight down, through the skin, through the muscle, into the core of the body. The distance between the front of your body and the back of your body decreases, becoming heavy with relaxation, pressing down upon the soft central cushion of the mediastinum, compressing the chest into safety, reducing the space, closing the gap. There is no need to hold the shield up. The war is over. The battle is finished. The gladius rests flat in its scabbard, the hilt of the sword at your throat, the point of the blade at your solar plexus. Both are heavy. Both are still. The shield is laid down upon the earth. The weight of the sternum anchors you to the bed. A deep, comforting pressure, like a heavy hand resting on your chest, holding you down, keeping you still, signaling to the nervous system that you are safe. You are protected. You are grounded. Deep beneath the heavy ribs, the floor of the cathedral prepares for stillness. The diaphragm, great dome softens. The tension leaves the edges of the muscle. The muscular fibers lengthen and release. The white, woven mat of the central tendon floats upward, no longer a piston of power, but a passive membrane. The breath becomes shallow, tidal, a mere ripple on the surface of a deep, dark lake, hardly moving at all. The diaphragm simply oscillates in a narrow range of tranquility, gently rocking the abdominal organs beneath it, lulling them, soothing them, rocking them into a rhythmic sleep. Now we enter the deepest sanctuary of all, the heart. As you lie still, the signal goes out along the great wandering nerve, the vagus, traveling down from the brainstem, wrapping its fibers around the drum, a command of absolute peace. Slow down, decelerate, visualize the rhythm changing. The beat becomes slower, heavier, more deliberate. Lub, dub, lub, dub. The pause between the beats lengthens. The diastole, the moment of rest, the void between the sounds. The heart now spends more time resting than working. It floats in the darkness, suspended in its oil, waiting, drifting. The valves close with a soft, heavy sound. The tricuspid, the mitral, sealing the chambers like the heavy iron doors of a vault, locking the blood inside. The flow is smooth, laminar, silent. The entire thorax is now a structure of heaviness. The vertebrae are sunk deep into the mattress, imprinted into the bed. The ribs are lowered and locked in a position of rest. The sternum is a heavy weight pressing you down. The engine has decelerated. The heat of the machine dissipates into the night, cooling down, turning to stone. You are no longer a machine of motion. You are a structure of stasis, a monument of alabaster resting on the earth, a statue of silence. The fortress is sealed against the night. The walls are thick. The interior is safe. There is nothing left to do but drift. Drift into the silence between the beats. Drift into the heavy, dark matrix of sleep. Deep, structural tranquility